so now I'll talk to you about some tips for going screen-free. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, I get what you're saying, but you're thinking, how do I even go about going screen-free? You know, sometimes when we get into the habit of something, it's hard to break the habits, especially if there's children involved. So my first tip for going screen-free in your home is to take away the screen. So if you see back here, this used to be what we called our TV stand. Now we call it a credenza because I felt weird calling it a TV stand with no TV. I fully just decided one day that we don't need a TV. We don't have to watch TV all the time. And me and my husband both have electronic devices that if we needed to watch a show or if we wanted to watch a show, we could do it on there. Now, I recommend talking to your husband first if you're married, because I didn't, but I just knew that if I didn't just do it, it wouldn't happen. So I took the TV down. I didn't throw it away. I didn't give it away. I hid it in a room, in the office, and I put a sheet on it. I made it just inconvenient enough for him to be like, okay, what are we gonna do with the TV? We need to get rid of it because we're not using it. So I do recommend talking with your spouse or whoever you live with before just taking it away. But that's what I did. I didn't fully throw it away. I just had it away and made it inconvenient to put back up. And so that was one way that I limited the opportunity for screen time. It also really benefited my marriage because instead of constantly just binge watching Netflix, we could do other things. And we do still watch shows or YouTube and things like that, but we find more time to talk, we started doing some more board games at night and trying to be more intentional about spending time together aside from just screen time. So, first tip is to remove the TV. So, remove the visual cue, take the TV out. Okay, my next tip for minimizing TV or taking screens out of your life is to take it out of your schedule and your routine. Children thrive off of routine, and whether you intentionally made it a routine or not, maybe your kid after school gets 2 hours to play video games, it's an intentional routine, you get 2 hours, okay, it's 6 o'clock, you're done. Or maybe it's not intentional at all and your kid just knows, after I finish my homework, if I say, Mom, I finished my homework, can I watch TV? Then Mom will usually say yes. Whether you intentionally made it a routine or not, if you are allowing your child to have screen time every single day, they get used to it. And I've seen this even in my kids who rarely ever have screen time. Sometimes when I cut their hair, I'll put a show on for them so that they stay still, like my son with Buzzer. Or if they're sick and everyone's sick or whatever the reason may be, I might turn on Mr. Rogers or something. I notice that when I do that, my kids get used to watching TV, and even though every other day they never ever ask to watch a show, the next week is harder because they ask constantly. So just making sure it's not a routine, it's not a natural thing, it's more of a special event, will really help to minimize your screen time or to completely cut it. Because I think a lot of times as moms feel guilty if our children want to watch a show, and we want to give our kids what they want, we want to give them the good things and the things that they like. And at the end of the day, we know as parents that either the screen is going to benefit us or it's not benefiting us for our situation, but we have to make that decision, and we can't let our children being used to something keep us from making any changes that we need to. So take it out of your routine, take it out of your schedule, kind of wean like a drug, wean off of the screens. I also find that there are certain shows that are really overstimulating, and I can't remember what the girl's account is, but there's a few accounts that talk about really overstimulating shows. If your child is watching super overstimulating shows, it really is like a drug addiction. So try to find slower shows with less super bright colors and flashy pictures. We love Mr. Rogers. There's a website, I think if you just type Mr. Rogers Neighborhood, they have 5 episodes a week. I think they like alternate it. And some of them are like black and white still, and some of them are. So those are free to watch, and those shows are slow. They ask questions, they help your child, with emotional learning, and they're actually really entertaining. I find myself watching them too. And so if you are realizing your child is kind of addicted to screens, maybe they only watch screens, for a few minutes a day, but because they're used to that vibrant color and that kind of overstimulation, if you change the show to a less stimulating show, you might see that your child is less interested in constantly watching screens. So that's a tip if you are trying to get it out of your schedule, is just to find a show that's less overstimulating. And then you can have peace of mind knowing that the show is not wiring their brain to be kind of obsessed with the show and the high that they get from watching the show. My third tip for limiting screen time or taking away screen time is to find activities to do outside of the house. You might have a yard where you can play outside with your kids. You might have a park nearby that you can drive to, or a museum or a library or whatever it may be. But getting out of the place where they usually watch screens will really help to break that habit and break that cycle. And also it can be really fun to learn outdoors and to explore nature. And if you tend to watch, videos to explain nature and trees, maybe you can go outside, depending on the weather. We live in Hawaii, so it's always a good time to go outside besides the rain. But maybe you can find creative ways to use the nature around you to teach your children instead of always depending on the screen. And that will really help if you plan that ahead of time. If you say in your head, okay, tomorrow we're going to go to the park. We'll even invite this friend to meet us there so that we do it. Because I think a lot of times when we try to utilize screens is when we feel desperate and we're like, okay, I just really need to get this done. I just really need to finish this. Or I'm having company over for dinner, so I really need to get all this cleaned up. Planning it ahead of time and making plans with other people can really help so that the screen is not an option. When you're out and about, screen is not an option. And if your kids are used to having screens, maybe try bringing something else. So like a snack or a toy. Usually when we go to places, I let my kids bring their baby dolls, their baby doll, or their car, or whatever it may be. And even if I don't want them playing with it at a friend's house, or we're going somewhere where they can't really play with it, they can bring that in the car, and it's just exciting for them to have something. So those are my tips. If you have any tips for going screen free in your home or for limiting screen time, please leave them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.